Hello, it's Big Reactors. So, as a preface, I will say that with anything to do with power systems, really, there's always a real lack of documentation. Um, the reality is, with all this stuff, you really need thousands of pages of documentation to display, all sorts of different configurations and stuff like that. And without that, it's always unfortunately just a case of thinking for yourself and stuff like that, which is unfortunate. Um, but it may change one day. It may change one day. Probably not, but you never know. Anyway, what I do know is that the smallest you can get is a 3x3. So I'm going to try to make the very, very smallest reactor we can. And that seems like a good idea, I think, to go for the tiniest reactor. And then maybe we can look at the numbers. So there's certain things you need here. We need one controller per reactor. And we're also going to want a access port and a power tap. So I'll put that on there. Put the power tap here. Put some reactor glass in here. And here. So 3x3 is going to be very, very tiny. Okay, so we need control rods as well. So how does this work? We put in the... I think I took everything. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, we take the Yellorium fuel rods here. And then we're going to go for and then we'll put in the reactor controller at the top. This should be actually a reactor. That should be the smallest reactor you can get once I actually fill it in. Reactor glass may only be used on the exterior faces, not as part of the reactor's frame or interior. Sorry? Oh. Well, can I use the casing for it there? I might have to use the casing. Yeah, it's basically to do with the size of it, it's not big enough. So there we go, there's the reactor, it actually worked. And that fucks out. And now you can see the multi-blocks formed. So here's the controller. Here's the access port. And here's the power tap. But we're not going to worry about the power tap. That's just going to output stuff. We don't want to do that. What we do want to do though is everything runs on Yellorium, right? So yeah. So we just bung the Yellorium into the access port. Oh, this is actually, oh yeah. So this is power and this is just items, isn't it? Ejects waste, ejects fuel containing the reactor, placing it in the access port. So you can get rid of the ingots, I guess. Alright, so it's 100% full. No depletion. There's one fuel rod. Alright. So we turn it on, I guess. it's getting 265 RF per tick, I believe that is. Alright then. Alright, so luckily we've got the faster casing on here, so it should be fine. Alright, so that's obviously not enough. So what we'll do is we'll do a 4x4 and then a 5x5. I'll stick with just the casing. I don't really see the point of the glass really, and also the glass might change the effects. So we don't want to do that. We'll just have all casing and we'll do exactly the same layout. Alright. So we're going to do a 4x4 with exactly the same idea of putting a stack of Yellorium in there. So let's very briefly do that. Alright, so we need one controller. Yeah, I think the controller is the only exactly one thing. Power tap, and the rest of it can. So I wonder if we get the error already. Yeah, so the error comes pretty soon. Do need a control rod. So we'll put the Yellorium fuel rod. Like so that's 2. Build the third layer. So like I say, it's going to be a 4x4. We may try a 3x4 as well. I'm basically going to try as many different configurations as I can without going over number 4, probably. So there's 3. And what is the point of this thing actually, now I think about it? Fucking sampling. Somehow change it around or something, I don't know. But yeah, we'll just stick with the casing for now, rather than just glass all over the place. Alright, so we'll put our Yellorium at the top. So it's a pretty simple setup really. Not the Yellorium, the other one. Did I just get rid of it somehow? Yellorium control rod. No, where's the control rod? Oh, it's this thing. Yeah, this always goes at the top. Alright, so we've got a 4x4 now. So let's have a look at this. What's going on now? That's going out to 0.027. I'm just curious to see what the starting thing is anyway. I may as well just look at that. If we look at the starting thing maybe. That took 8 immediately. And that's exactly double. So I guess that's nice to have that. Why is that exactly double then? I have no fucking idea. That's not good. Why is it exactly double? Why? The third thing I thought of is that maybe, if you think about the size inside the reactor, there's only one inside that reactor. Inside this reactor, there's 4. That must be it. But then we have to work out what the relation is. So it's obviously a sort of yeah. Basically, there's 4 times as much space in there. That's the thing. I don't know though. I don't know why it went up to 5.6. I'm not even going to think about the loss okay, there is loss, but obviously it becomes less. 678.41. It stays cooler. It's actually not only the heat is relevant, but the fuel burnout rate is. So basically everything is basically related to the size of the thing, I think. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know where to start with this thing, really. 252. That is not. Yeah, this looks like it's including another number, but unfortunately, I don't know. But then again, I have only looked it up for about 5 minutes, so maybe I'll start to get the hang of it. I'm going to try anyway. I might try. The thing about this, of course, is that I don't really know if I'm going to be able to get it. It's always awkward to do anything with reactors because documentation's not there, and of course, you know, and people just, you know, people are not going to just give you piles of numbers or the equations you need for some reason. I think in maths you probably would, but in computer science you've got no fucking chance. Which is always sad, because it would be nice to actually just get loads of tables. There may be tables around actually for big reactors. I have seen some stuff for it, but it is very much piecing together and problem solving stuff that is unbelievably tedious. And unless you like that sort of thing, it's always difficult to do it. But I don't know. Yeah, you see, I don't want to just, you know, I could say, well, there's less RF particularly being generated in the smaller one than the bigger one. It looks to be about half. You know, so you can think about all sorts of things like, is this, you know, raising it to the half power? There's bound to be some exponentiation going on here somewhere. But what exactly are they? I don't know. I wish I could. I don't know. I almost could try to read the. I don't know. I would like to almost read the source code, but I probably don't quite understand it. I don't think I really understand the class inheritance stuff properly, because I never really did quite enough Java to really get it beyond, like, you know. Perhaps if I'd learned a more basic language, like, well, I did actually learn basic, but if I'd learned something a bit easy to do, I might do it. But I don't know. I'm going to try anyway, but we'll see. I might just. It depends how pissed off I get. It's all based on stress. If I get too stressed, I'm not going to do it. But you know, I don't know. I'll keep on going at it, and I guess it's just impossible. I wish I could start these things in a positive attitude, but you can't, because it's just always a wall of misinformation and bullshit. Yeah, that's it. There we go.